Pharaoh Ramesses II is popularly believed to have been the Egyptian ruler during the time of Moses. But what if he wasn't? Join us today as we look at some amazing discoveries and learn about the possible pharaohs who could have been the pharaoh of the Exodus. Number 10. The Merneptah Stele. When studying ancient Egyptian history, it's important to take note of all available resources. In this case, we're talking about a particular stele that was discovered in 1896 at the Theban tombs of Merneptah. It was created by Egyptians in the 13th century BC and was used to record the accomplishments of one of Egypt's rulers. The interesting part about this stele is that it predates Ramesses II by about 200 years. However, there are some controversial theories regarding its true origins. Some scholars believe that the stele was actually created much later than initially thought, around the time of Ramesses II. They claim that someone forged it in order to cast doubt on the earlier rulers' legitimacy and associate their lineage, instead, with the famous King Tut. 9. The possible reign of Seti I. One of the most popular contenders for the role of the pharaoh of the Exodus is Seti I. He ruled Egypt between 1290 and 1279 BC, and his reign marked a significant shift in power. After decades of weak pharaohs, Seti came to power and restored the Egyptian empire. He launched military campaigns into the Levant, Nubia, and Libya, re-established trade and built numerous temples dedicated to the gods. But perhaps even more importantly, he left behind an extensive building project that had a lasting impact on Egyptian culture. His construction projects included a massive temple complex at Abydos, a city in Upper Egypt, as well as 2 mortuary temples in the eastern desert. All of these places were turned into burial grounds for himself and his successors. While no direct evidence links Seti to the Exodus, his reign does overlap with the biblical timeline, and his building projects could be seen as evidence of divine favor. Number 8. The reign of Ramesses II. Despite the recent discoveries that challenge his legacy, Ramesses II remains the most commonly cited pharaoh associated with the Exodus. Born in 1303 BC, he took the throne when he was only 14 years old. Under his rule, Egypt reached new heights of wealth and power through successful military campaigns and diplomatic missions. Ramses also engaged in extensive building projects across the empire, leaving behind a legacy of impressive monuments, such as the Abu Simbel Temple complex. The idea that Ramses was the biblical pharaoh came about due to a number of factors. For one thing, his reign did overlap with the time period in which the Exodus is believed to have taken place. Additionally, there are some similarities between the story of Moses and Ramses, such as the plagues and the parting of the Red Sea. Of course, there are also differences. The Bible describes the pharaoh as being hardened of heart and resistant to God's commands, whereas Ramses is generally regarded as a benevolent and God-fearing ruler. Nonetheless, despite the lack of concrete evidence, many people still believe that Ramses was indeed the pharaoh of the Exodus. Number 7. The reign of Merneptah. Another pharaoh whose name has been associated with the Exodus is Merneptah, the son of Ramesses II. He took the throne after his father's death in 1224 BC and reigned until 1213 BC. During his reign, he faced several challenges, including threats from the Hittites and Libyans and internal strife. Nevertheless, he managed to secure the borders and maintain peace and stability throughout the empire. One of the most notable achievements of Merneptah's reign was the establishment of the world's first known navy. This naval force played a crucial role in protecting the Egyptian interests in the eastern Mediterranean and the Red Sea. Merneptah also continued his father's building projects, constructing temples and monuments across the kingdom. So why is Merneptah's name connected to the Exodus? Well, some scholars believe that the Bible's description of the pharaoh's death fits better with Merneptah's reign than with any other pharaoh's. According to the Bible, the pharaoh drowned in the Red Sea after pursuing the Israelites, and Merneptah's reign was marked by a naval mutiny that resulted in his fleet's destruction. Although there's no direct evidence linking him to the Exodus, the coincidence is certainly intriguing. Number 6. The reign of Akhenaten. Akhenaten, who ruled from 1353 to 1336 BC, was one of the most controversial figures in Egyptian history. He's best known for his religious reforms, which centered the worship of the sun god Aten and moved the empire's capital to Amun. During his reign, he overthrew the traditional religion, which had been dominated by Amun-Ra, and replaced it with a new monotheistic faith. This radical shift in religious beliefs caused a lot of upheaval and resistance from the old priesthoods. Apart from the religious reforms, Akhenaten's reign was also marked by some significant artistic and architectural changes. For example, the traditional Egyptian art style, which often depicted pharaohs in a highly stylized manner, was abandoned in favor of a more realistic style that emphasized the natural forms and proportions of the human body. Some scholars believe that the pharaoh of the Exodus could have been Akhenaten. Firstly, his reign did overlap with the time period in which the Exodus is believed to have taken place. Secondly, the plagues described in the Bible bear some resemblance to the natural disasters that occurred during Akhenaten's reign. For instance, the biblical account of the Nile River turning to blood could possibly refer to the real-life event of a red algae bloom that turned the river a deep red color. Similarly, the plague of darkness could have been inspired by an actual eclipse that plunged the region into darkness for several days. No. 5. The reign of Thutmose III. Thutmose III's name has also been put forward as a potential candidate for the pharaoh of the Exodus. He ruled from 1479 to 1425 BC and is considered one of the greatest pharaohs in Egyptian history. During his reign, he led numerous military campaigns into Nubia, Syria, and Palestine, expanding the boundaries of the empire and bringing back vast amounts of wealth and resources. He also implemented a number of administrative reforms, including the establishment of a new capital city and the introduction of a standardized system of weights and measures. These reforms helped to centralize the government and make it more efficient. While there is no direct evidence to support the claim that Thutmose III was the pharaoh of the Exodus, some scholars have suggested that the timing of his reign makes him a strong candidate. Moreover, the fact that he expanded Egyptian control into Qenon, the land where the Israelites are said to have wandered, adds another layer of intrigue to the possibility that he could have been the pharaoh in question. Number 4. The reign of Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut was the fifth pharaoh of the 18th dynasty and the second female pharaoh of Egypt. She ruled from 1478 to 1458 BC and is remembered for her successful trading expeditions to the land of Punt and her extensive building projects. During her reign, she built several temples and monuments, including the mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, which is considered one of the most beautiful examples of ancient Egyptian architecture. But why is Hatshepsut's name associated with the Exodus? The main reason is that her reign overlaps with the time frame in which the Exodus is believed to have taken place. Additionally, some scholars believe that the biblical description of the Exodus could possibly be a distorted account of events that took place during Hatshepsut's reign. For example, the Israelites' enslavement in Egypt could have been inspired by the forced labor that Hatshepsut's enemies used against her, while the plagues and the parting of the Red Sea could have been based on real-life events such as earthquakes or tidal waves. Number 3. Lack of archaeological evidence. While some pharaohs' names are closely linked to the Exodus, none of them can be definitively proven to be the one mentioned in the Bible. A major reason for this is the lack of archaeological evidence. Most of the evidence used to support the theory that a particular pharaoh was the biblical pharaoh is circumstantial at best. For example, the Merneptah stele, which some believe was created during the reign of Ramesses II, is now thought to have been forged much later. This means that it cannot be used as evidence to support the theory that Ramesses was the pharaoh of the Exodus. Similarly, the supposed similarities between the story of Moses and Ramesses' life, such as the plagues and the parting of the Red Sea, are not concrete enough to establish a connection. No. 2. Alternative theories. In the absence of direct evidence, many alternative theories have been proposed. Some scholars argue that the Exodus never happened at all, while others suggest that it took place during a different time period. There are even some who believe that the Exodus story is a symbolic representation of the Israelites' journey to freedom from slavery. Whatever the truth may be, it's important to approach this topic with an open mind and to be respectful of different perspectives and beliefs. Whether or not one believes in the literal sense of the Exodus story, it's undeniable that it's had a profound impact on history and culture. Number 1. Call to action. Thanks for joining us today as we uncovered the secrets of the Exodus and explored the fascinating theories surrounding the identity of the pharaoh. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on our latest biblical facts. And if you want to learn more about the incredible stories of the past, be sure to check out our other videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on today's video. so please take a moment to share them below. And if you're feeling generous, please consider liking the video to help us reach more history lovers like you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.